What is up, RZ Jones 18 fans? Welcome back to the Summer Haul series. Every year we do this June, July, and August. Every month you get a part, every month you get some toys. And welcome to part one of Summer Haul 2025. A lot's happened since the last time we spoke. The last time we spoke, we talked about um, we talked about Hero, we talked about the Turtles, Shredder, we talked about Spike and a bunch of those being added to the collection. Since then, I have acquired some pieces, and big shout out to BigBadToyStore.com, where you can still get relatively good priced toys, which is really cool. Um, Major shout out to them. This is my second time ordering from them, and my ordering experience was great. Same thing with Mattel. We'll talk about them when we get to their figures, but overall, great experience all around ordering figures. Makes me feel better going into ordering figures more often. And also, check out the scenery. It's changed again. We're no longer in a little corner in the back. Or is it that corner? No, it's that corner. I was right. But also, if you can see above me, there's some Masters of the Universe figures up there now, the Creations exclusives. The room's changed a little bit. I'll be doing a full tour here within the next month or so, probably. End of the whoop. Sorry, didn't mean to kick the table. That'll probably be closer to the end of this series, probably in probably August. I will be doing a video of the full new tour with like once I get my new shelving and all that kind of stuff. But enough about that. You came to see what has happened so far in June. June has been very fruitful. I have acquired 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 new figures. And I finally acquired a new piece to the collection that completes a subset of stuff from O2 currently, which is pretty exciting. So let's start off from this way back, eventually getting to the last two pieces, which I got yesterday. So it was on Thursday or Friday, I can't remember. Thursday or Friday, I got home and my shipment came in from BBTS. And I have acquired some pieces that I told myself I wasn't going to be doing so because I'm not invested in those characters. Now that I have two kind of big ones, I kind of want to get some to go around them. And so, but we'll explain that when we get there. Oh, where did that come from? Well, you kind of already saw them already, so we might as well just get into it. One of the figures I got, excuse me, one of the figures I got acquired. It was part of a thing that I already have a certain big piece over here with a certain tower. And when I knew they were coming out with the figure of him, I've been debating it for a while. But here is Viper. This is the embodiment of Viper Tower, and I think he looks terrific. This is my first real snake. I don't count Ratlore because he's a mutated version character. These are my first true real snakes in my collection, and it only felt like proper that my first real one would be part of the Eternia thing because I love Eternia and I want a Grayskull man and I really want that Eternian princess from the Eternia comic book. But besides that, here's Viper. He is one of my taller characters. I mean, when you compare him to, I think him and this trooper are about. No, he's taller. He's taller than the trooper, that's for sure. But we'll get to him in a little bit. Spoiler. There's an Easter egg on him if you can figure out who the other one is. But yeah, here's Viper with a very cool bone version of the magic wand. And again, I love the fact he has the real metal chains. The fact that this guy wasn't a creation exclusive is kind of crazy, being that he is the embodiment of a $550 toy that only certain people have. I think it's crazy that they were just like, he can be part of a wave. And he was. But he is now part of the collection, is Viper. and I'm very happy to have him. So, figure number 1, Vipor. Since we showed him off, might as well do the rest. Might as well do these as a duo. So I've been really debating about getting this set for a while, and mainly because I've been wanting to see whether or not they're gonna put out any more new Horde stuff. And boy did they. I got 5 new Horde characters just in the slot, which is really exciting. And I love the Horde Trooper. I think it's a really good army builder, but I want a captain, and I know they put out two different flavors of them in the 4-pack from forever ago for He-Man Con or freaking Power Con. But I don't have that. I don't have that because I already have the versions of those characters already in my collection. But I did need something to command my 2 other Horde Troopers, and so I got the Horde Trooper Prime, which is really dope. And finally, I now own, in some way, shape, or form, that exclusive arm cannon that the Hordak had. And I think the red on him is very nice. It's got a good sheen to it. I think he looks really good. If you can guess what that's for, you can probably see what my fingers are going to be at the end. But I think he looks great. But as an add-on for him, he came with a red hoverbot. And what blew me away about the hoverbot, more so than the trooper, was he does come with the stand, was the articulation in his arms. So they can like in and out. He's also got an elbow and a wrist swivel. He doesn't have he doesn't have a head articulation, obviously, and his articulation for his waist is technically the stand, which also has rotation on both sides. But it's so cool to have a little hoverbot now to go with my Horde. Like, it makes me want to get a second one of these to make like a captain and to have a second hoverbot with them. I think it'd be really cool. Like, so like 2-2, 2-2. I think it'd be really cool. So, debating it. But Horde Trooper Prime and hoverbot. Horde Trooper Prime also comes with a bunch of different arm attachments. Like, he comes with some of the Roboto stuff, comes with some of the Trapjaw stuff. Put it in the hand. Doesn't work great. So the port where a certain piece was, this port right here is supposed to be where you plug in certain things. So let me actually go get one and I can show you an example of what was happening last night. It was, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if the pegs are just short, but let me go grab that real quick. So I want to get some examples of other ones. There we go. Okay. Okay. So I grabbed here. I grabbed some pieces to show you. So these are 2 of the ones that come with him. This is Trapjaw's blaster, and that is Roboto's blaster. Now, when you look at the port, the pegs, that one is small, so that fits in that arm fine, no problem. It's a see-through, obviously, but I think it's really cool. But then we get to like regular Roboto arm. That also works just fine. Like, it stays on and doesn't look weird. But then we get the Trapjaw's gun, which has the nub. Not really a peg, but more of a nub. When you put that one in, it sticks out. And it's only on the Roboto weapons that it works. It does not, I think it's just because of the molding on the arm and the way the peg works. It does not work very well with the Trapjaw weapons, which I found odd, but you know, it is what it is. So to keep moving on into the Horde, we're going to go ahead and do this one right here. Go ahead and put everything there. Here is my first cartoon collection figure. Well, that's not true. Voltac technically is my first cartoon collection. But this is my second Volt cartoon collection figure, also from the Horde. And that would be Catra. And I think she looks absolutely gorgeous. I think the head sculpt on her in particular looks so good. And she does have her mask, which you can bring down. And she looks cool. I prefer to have her up there like that. But as a accessory, because Cartoon Collection are specific episode accessories, or in this case, constant episode accessory, and that would be Capture as Cat. And I agree with Pixel Dan. I think this thing is beautifully made, really well sculpted, and there's some really like paint into like the mouth and stuff. She's too small. I wish she was a little bit bigger. It is what it is, but I still like having her in the collection. Woo! I still like having the two of them in the collection. So there's Catra. Now for my two of my heroes. This is one of them. This is Frosta, which is my first Princess of Power figure, minus the She-Ra I have on the shelf currently. And seeing the Catra, seeing the Frosta, I have decided that for Cartoon Collection's sake, I'm going to start collecting the Princess of Power stuff from Cartoon Collection. Because we're not getting a lot of Princess of Power stuff, and it's the 40th anniversary, and I want to get more Princess of Power stuff to put on my Princess of Power shelf, and right now it's confiscated by Turtles, Sunman, Stone Dar, and my toy version of She-Ra. But I really, really, really like the designs on these Cartoon Collection Princess of Power figures. This Frosta figure is just gorgeous. Gorgeous. It's one of the prettiest female heads I think I have in my collection. Minus the Zoar Tila head sculpt. I think she looks terrific. I think she looks really good. We're going to scoot the camera up just a little. There we go. But yeah, she looks terrific. She looks really good. Very happy with her. That head sculpt is just crazy. But there's Frosta. Now we get to... We have two exclusives. We have three exclusives here. We have one fan channel exclusive and two Mattel Creations exclusives. So I figured we'll do one Mattel, we'll do the 4, and then we'll end it on the newest one that just got released. So we'll do the fan chan first, then we'll start working our way through these. So we'll go in the order that you take them out of the box. And so this was the Battle for Eternia 4-pack. This was the new 4-pack for the year that kind of took the spot of the Snake Men 4-pack from last year. And much like last year, I really wasn't focusing on them. I wasn't focusing on snakes. And so, but this had my intrigue because it's 4 new characters, reusing body parts, obviously. One of these, one I'm holding in my hand, is my least favorite of the 4, simply because it is just a repaint of a figure that I now have like 2 or 3 of at this point, and that would be the Pagan Warrior, which again, he looks awesome. I mean, visually he looks great. This reminds me a lot of the armor that Duncan wears in Revolution at the end of the war, at the end of the series for Man at War. And so like that part of it, I thoroughly enjoy. I think the sculpting is always great on this mold. You know, I've owned the Man at Arms base mold. I've owned the Man at Arms Eternia Palace Guard. I did own a snake armor Man at Arms at one point, but I got rid of him. I just didn't need him, and I still don't. And but this mold, the armor I believe is King Randor's. It is King Randor's armor. It might be newly molded, maybe. I don't know where this armor piece came from for the arm, but I do know where the shins and the rest of the armor came from. And this is clearly a Duncan head sculpt underneath of the helmet. And it comes with the hammer that, is this April? It came with this in Turtles of Grayskull. So this is my first time getting a Turtles of Grayskull non-turtle weapon, which is pretty cool. But he's my least favorite just because he's just, gold and white and, Paragon of Warrior Champion, yada, yada, yada. He's my least favorite. The other 3, though, I adore. All 3 of them. We'll save my favorite for last. So here's my next favorite. And again, it's just simply because I like snakes. Don't get me wrong. I am going to try to get some of the snakes that I need to finish off my crew. But, here is I forget what they call this dude. Um, we'll call him a snake zealot, but here he is. And he has a green rat lore head. I believe this head is from. I don't know what this head is from, actually, to be honest with you. Because this doesn't look like Tuvar's head from the Cartoon Collection pack. I know what the shield's from. I know what the sword's from. And I know what the snake arm is from. It's from. Most of the snake stuff on here is from King Hiss, including the snake belt, which is a new one for me too, which is pretty cool. But this head right here in particular, I don't know. Because it's like it's proper. Is this a King Hiss head? Again, I'm not really into the snake, so I wouldn't know. But that head on the side, this one right here, is that a Tuvar toy head from a Tuvar that I haven't got yet? I know what you're from. You're from him. Like when you look at the heads together, they look very similar, just minus paint deco. Scaling wise, they look exactly the same. Full painted red eye on the green, yellow and red on Viper. When you look at the mouths, they painted the teeth and the tongue, and over here they just painted the teeth, and the entire roof of the mouth and the tongue are all pink with a little bit of tip at the end. Yeah, but there's my snakes. Like I said, I like Viper of the two of those. Here is my second favorite of this bunch. This guy's so cool. This is the Skelenite, and his sword is so sick. Oh, it's cool. There's like some Eternian writing on the side of the blade. I love the fact of how it like looks like a ram skull. This is my real first like unique weapon I've gotten in a while, which is pretty exciting. And the head sculpt on this figure is just so metal. I just got done playing Doom, and it's got Doom Dark Ages vibe on it for sure. This is definitely the Lords of Power Beastman armor for sure. The forearms I have never seen before, nor with the legs, nor with the torso, nor with the pants. But I've never seen the legs, the arms, the head sculpt's completely new. But the body is your basic Motu Origins body, like nothing crazy. But some of the armor and some of the extra like accoutrement, that's all new to me. So that's a bunch of new sculpted pieces on a new figure, which is always exciting. So there is my only Evil Warrior figure of the set. Well, that counts technically. But here is my favorite figure of the 4-pack. And I must just be a Horde person. I must be, because I love collecting Horde figures. Ever since I got done collecting my Heroic Warrior shelf, I have just been all in on trying to find Horde stuff. Because my Evil Warrior shelf is almost done as well. I mean, I'm not missing a lot. And we're only missing really Too Bad from that thing. And I don't know why they haven't shown him yet. Hopefully they will this year. But I saw this, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted the 4-pack so badly. It's like this Horde Zealot, and that head sculpt, man, is so dope. This is so cool. It's the personification of the bat, like with the mohawk from Hordak. You've got like the more cartoon version of the Horde symbol. He comes like with this really dope, like religious scepter. He's probably in front on my Horde shelf now. I love. Woo, I say all that, and then I throw him on the ground. I love this figure. I absolutely adore it. This is probably my favorite figure one of my favorite figures of the year so far is this one right here. And I don't know if it's because of the armor or it's so simple, but that head sculpt is just so cool and so unique. And this is one of my favorite Motu figures I now own in my collection. I love this guy. I'm a big Horde person. I don't know why, and it continues. But before we get to these, we're going to get to this guy. So I now have, excluding vintage vehicles, every single Origins vehicle. I own all of them, including the Eternia vehicles. I always add those to the list now. But the one I did not have was this guy right here. Get off your stand. There we go. But I did not have this one. And I'm waiting for the right moment to do it, and I finally did it. I now own the Collector, and yeah, it's pretty cool. This is, of my vehicles, the most basic looking, but it's going for the Cartoon Collection aesthetic, which is perfectly fine. It does come with a port on the bottom that can, if you want to, be used with your Wind Raider, your Wind Raider stand, or mainly your Wind Raider stand. I would recommend for this one simply because it's got a big enough range on it to where it'll stay, and that's what I've been doing with mine. That's why I have it displayed on my shelf, is through that stand, and I have my Roton on the ground now, which is fine because that's where the Rotons usually are, so it doesn't bother me. This is mainly for actual height. So, but yeah, it's big. It's really big. They had it on sale at Big Bad Toy Store, and I got it for a good deal. But now let's get to these last two. So I was going to do it in the order that came out, but I want to do it in the order that I enjoy them. And so the first one is the most recent Mattel Creations exclusive, and that would be Despera. Here she is. And she is in the box because that's how I display most. I'll make the exception here in a second. Most of my Creations exclusives all go on the wall, or they stay in their box and they go on the wall or on the shelf like this or something, because these are rare. These are, these are not things you can usually find anywhere else except for Mattel. I know they haven't been selling well, unfortunately, and we've been able to get these aplenty. Example will be this one down here. I came out almost a month ago and I was still able to get it. And I love the fact that it incorporates, like, hey, look, on the side of the box, there's my Horde Zealot right there. And then she's fighting. Here, I can actually show you the card art. Look at that gorgeous card art. Her fighting the Snake Zealot with Hordak and the Horde Zealot behind her. And that's traditional Hordak, which is pretty cool. I figured they would use the one I got. But she's good. I think this is my favorite use of the female body. Of the new female body, like, that's been used on, like, the Cartoon Collection female figures. The Hordak, like the Despera helmet, I think is pretty cool. The Adora head underneath, I enjoy. However, I can solely see them using that for like a Revelations Tila if they wanted to, down the line. And she comes with two of Triclops' swords, which in the art, they look like they actually fit the character. In hand, they are kind of big, and I know people have been making 3D printed profiles for the weapons. I'm still going to use it. I'm using one of them with a different character, so it doesn't bother me too much. But, yeah, there is Despera. But every time my nose likes to, every time. But here we go. Here is, now, keep in mind, I've kind of kit bashed this thing together already. I've given him a thing that there's something that went to somebody else, but we'll talk about that in a second. Here is probably, beside the Horde Zealot, my favorite figure I got in this entire lot. And it was a figure originally I was going to pass on. I did not see any interest in him. And it was because I already had the original release version of the character on the shelf in the front with his crew. But what sold me was not the fact that it could spin, but it was an arm cannon. And I like that this character has an arm cannon. Plus, the additional head sculpt is so freaking dope. And yeah, I got Hurricane Hordak. And He's so cool. And I bet you're wondering, what the? He doesn't come with a cape. He doesn't come with a cape. This came from the Horde Trooper Prime. I took it off of him, and I think that's why eventually I'll get another one that'll keep the cape, and he'll be the leader of the three troops that I have. But he looked so much better with the cape on, and so yeah. So basically, you can plug this in right here, and there's a little dial underneath, and he does the hurricane moves, which I like. Don't get me wrong. I like this better as if you rotate it up, it's still got like some detail on top as an arm cannon. And so now Hordak has an arm cannon. He's got this wicked gold armor. I gave him one of Despera's swords that looks so much nicer with him. And we have to talk about this head sculpt. This is the best Hordak head we have gotten in the line. Par none. That's it. This is the best Hordak head we've gotten in the entire line. This is better than any of the other heads, and it's simply because it's unique. It's different. It doesn't look like your angry, happy, sad face Hordak. He is a metal MFer, and you get in his way, he is going to ruin your day. And I love it. I think the cape adds a lot to him. I wish it was black. I think it would look a lot cooler in the black color. But it looks so dope. I love the aesthetic. The gold vac metal looks so nice, and the red. There's also they painted his neck. I covered it up with the cape, but the paint around his neck from where the vac metal would be is so clean and it looks so good. I got lucky and there was no chipping on my vac metal at all. But yeah, very, 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 very happy. This is probably my favorite Hordak I've bought. And originally I was going to skip him. I'm so glad I didn't. This really is the best deluxe, in my opinion, Creations exclusive figure we got since Skyclone, in my opinion. He is just so cool, and he looks so much more imposing with just his head and the spikes. He looks so cool. He looks so good. But yeah, guys, that is part one of the Summer Haul 2025. Pretty happy with the haul. Pretty happy with this month's haul. Now we know going into July that there was a possible leak of Shirella being the next Creations exclusive Powers of Grayskull figure, and the Fright Zone being the big one for July. But now recently that the Fright Zone listing has been taken down. I think that might be the August one now instead of the July one, because we already have Shirella for July. So Shirella will be here for this haul for sure. And you might see more slithering idiots coming through. And also, hopefully in July, we'll be getting some, cats who really like thunder for some reason, and they fight a mummy. I don't know. But hopefully they'll be in the next haul video where we get to finally look at these brand new crossover figures with Thundercats. Very, very excited to see what they do with those. Again, I hope you guys like the new aesthetic of the room. It's ever changing, but I think we're finally getting to the point where I like it where it's at. Minus the gaping hole up top, but that's fine. I think the rest of the stuff looks great around it. But yeah, thanks guys very much for watching. Like, rate, subscribe. Hit that comment section. Let me know how your summer haul is going so far for the year of 2025. And we will catch you all in the next one. Bye, y'all.